When Marvel announced that they were bringing back Daredevil for another season, Daredevil Born Again, there was a mix out there when it came to feelings about this show. Some people, a little bit of excitement. They like those characters. They wanted to see Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, not just for a couple seconds in No Way Home, not just for a terrible cameo in She-Hulk, but actually see the character again. But there was also a lot of hesitation because we've seen the way that Marvel has treated these characters. We've seen what the MCU has become. And a lot of people didn't necessarily want to see how the MCU might destroy this character. And it seemed like Marvel knew people were concerned about it. They knew they needed to hit a home run, taking a character like this that would be directly compared to the Netflix character. And of course, they said this is going to be a continuation, guys. Absolutely, this is going to be a continuation of Daredevil on Netflix. There was a mess in production. They scrapped half of the entire show, reshot a bunch of it, all of that. Well, it finally came out last week on Disney+. And unfortunately, it looks like this is the type of damage that the MCU has done to their brand. It's not just flops at the box office. It's also diminishing returns on their streaming platform. Disney's Daredevil Born Again got a solid start. Its first episode garnering 7.5 million views worldwide. So this is a global number, not just like United States, a global number in the 5 days after its March 4th premiere. Well, 7.5 million, that could be a good number. That could be a horrific number. It's all about perspective, right? Well, unfortunately, we have the perspective, and it is not good for this show. Now, the first 2 episodes that came out, I watched them. I thought they were extremely mediocre. I think there's a lot of red flags and potential warning signs for where they could take the story, and it could end up being absolute shit. I do think throughout the series there are some things they could do where I would sit back and say, hey, you know what? Wasn't nearly as good as the Netflix show, but it was a solid show. I lean more towards it's probably going to be something I don't like, but with just 2 episodes, I judge it as very mediocre. Well, it looks like a lot of people weren't very interested to tune in. Disney Plus launches to Daredevil Born Again launches to 7.5 million views on Disney Plus. That's the biggest streaming debut on the platform this year. You know, so far they've had 2 months of this year and really released nothing of note when it comes to original TV series on streaming. So, not exactly a high bar, is it? Disney does not regularly release viewership information about its streaming shows, so exact comparisons are difficult. But for some context, it was previously reported that Paradise drew 7 million views across the first 9 days streaming on Hulu and Disney+, but this is the better comparison. The first episode of fellow Marvel show Agatha All Along, which was a ratings failure, one of the least watched shows in the history of the MCU on Disney+, even that premiered to 9.3 million views in its first week of availability. So that's 7 days versus 5 days. But if you factor in the fact that most of those views are front-loaded in the first 24 to 48 hours when something premieres, when something comes out, it sounds like Daredevil, to say that it's matching what Agatha did, that would be generous. It's probably tracking slightly behind. And not just Agatha, you compare it to some of the other Disney Plus shows and you can see these diminishing returns. Daredevil Born Again, 5 days, 7.5 million. That's about half of what Ahsoka came out to. And Ahsoka, of course, had higher numbers initially, fell off in a big way. But that also was a massive disappointment for Disney on their streaming service. The Acolyte. The disastrous failure known as The Acolyte. 5 days, 11.1 million global views. That's a direct one-to-one comparison. It's tracking significantly less than The Acolyte, not even close. And of course, Agatha All Along, 7 days, 9.3 million. This is a massive disappointment for Disney because unlike some of those other shows, Daredevil is a character that people care about. Daredevil is a people that they thought would draw eyes, even if they turned in a subpar product, that people would give it a chance, people would check it out. And I think it's almost impossible to live up to what Netflix did. I think at the best, we can hope for a weak imitation of it that might end up being okay, an okay story. And so far, the first 2 episodes, like I said, I think it's incredibly mediocre with a lot of massive warning signs about what could happen throughout the next several episodes of this series. But that is a colossal, catastrophic disappointment for Disney. They had to at least think that this would draw more interest, more eyes, more viewers than Agatha all along. But a lot of people are just done. They're not even willing to give Marvel or Disney Plus in some ways a chance anymore. And that's what we have sitting here with Daredevil Born Again, tracking behind the Acolyte, not even close to the Acolyte, 4 million less views than the Acolyte, and even tracking less in all likelihood than Agatha all along. A massive failure so far for the first 2 episodes of this show. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.